Oh, for Seb. I wonder if somebody in his family would get mad if one of his siblings married a Jew.
Oh, good question. Because I was talking to that Isawi Frage guy, and I think a lot of Israelis don't like him for whatever reason. He,
Wait, which guy?
the guy from yesterday, Seb's guy, the Knesset member that you didn't speak to.
Yeah.
There are, because he campaigns a lot against like Israeli-Arab inequality, and he wants two states and all that shit. There are despite what Hassan's saying, there are Israelis in my replies now saying that like, why did you come here just to like attack our country and shit? We should pay for your flight back. I asked if we was recommending we speak to more like on the ground Palestinian organizations in West Bank.
What about it?
Do you think it'd be worth asking her for contacts if there's anyone who wants to see us in Ramallah, maybe?
I think that that Rami guy that we're going with, I think he's super, super, super well connected.
Okay.
He seems like it.
That's good.
Like, he was asking how long we wanted to do our tour for, and I was like, oh, fucking 12 hours if you got the time. And he's like, I have time to show you literally everything. And then for Ramallah, he said that there's not going to be too much that's of interest in Ramallah, and he was asking if we were okay, like, driving around to refugee camps and stuff. And I was like, hell yes.
Hell yeah.
So it seems like he's pretty... And then there's been two other contacts that I've been recommended to talk to, and I've asked Rami, and he is like, seems more connected with those people than the people that recommended.
Oh, there he is.
Ah! Why did I say that? Ah!
You found it okay?
Yeah. How long have you lived out here for?
Oh, now about 20 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
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 My name's Steven.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, that too.
Hey, I'm Naz. Nice to meet you.
Ich bin mit einer Maschine kennen. Yeah. So anyhow.
Yeah. It's been fun so far. It's been interesting.
Okay.
I feel like I've learned two big pieces of information that might be available. I just didn't know. One was about the, you've heard about the napkin map, right?
I remember something vague. I don't
Basically
remember.
that I think Abbas a few years later claimed that Olmert just showed him basically a
Not
map
a
on a
proper
napkin.
proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And Olmert claimed...
No, that's
and
not
then-
what he...
Well, he said
He
that
said
it wasn't
Ol-
a noise, he had to draw a map.
Yeah,
because
he said
wasn't
Olmert showed him a map, but he couldn't take it with
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
so he draws it on a napkin as a protest and says, "This is all I've got." Yeah,
not a proper proposal. Yeah. Olmert said, and then Ben-Ami said as much, that like Olmert offered the next day to bring Sayeb Erekat and Abbas back to do like a proper meeting to set everything up. Whether they canceled, they're like, oh,
Abbas cancelled.
yes,
Yeah.
which I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't even.
I thought there was a proper proposal, not just a napkin, but it's possible he didn't want to give him the proposal in hand. He just talked about
I think
He
Olmert
said
said
that.
he didn't
Yes.
want to take. He didn't want Abbas to take it away with because he
Yeah,
thought he
yeah.
would never come back.
But
Yeah.
Abbas never responded to the proposal, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially the story, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's written down anywhere though. If there's any book or anything that talks, because I know Ben-Ami was like, "Yeah, it's true."
Olmert
Yeah,
wrote
but
an autobiography. It might be in there. I don't remember.
It should be. I feel like it's something he'd talk about.
yeah, that would be yeah. But I wonder if there's any like anyone who's not actually Olmert himself, because obviously the instinctive response is to people to accuse each other of lying. Yeah.
Abbas at some point said I didn't respond because Olmert was about to go on trial, was about to end his premiership. So what was the point of my?
There's always a good excuse.
He had an excuse, yeah.
But Arafat did the same with Barak and.
Arafat didn't really find an excuse. He just basically said no to the proposal laid before him, initially by Barak and later by Clinton.
Yeah.
He didn't not respond. He did say no, or at least Clinton saw his response as a no.
Yeah, but it was never actually a no. It was like a.
No, well, that doesn't matter. The point
Yeah.
Clinton said these are the proposals. Arafat said, yeah, it's very nice, but these are our objections. Objections amounting to a no to the proposal.
Yeah,
So
in the
that's how
West.
Clinton understood it.
Yeah, in the West, it's always presented with the Clinton parameters. I say the West, but like people like Finkelstein and everything will say that the Clinton parameters were rejected by both Israel
No,
and.
that's not true. I
Yeah.
saw the Israeli response. In fact, I was the first person to publish the Israeli response because it was confidential for some reason.
Yeah.
Basically, Clinton said the Israeli objections didn't amount to a no. There were some slight changes they
Yeah.
wanted, whereas
But they were within the
Arafat-
Clinton parameters.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
While Arafat's were basically a no. That was how Clinton described it. You could say Clinton's lying. He's pro-Israeli. He didn't want to be, he wanted to accuse Arafat. But I essentially believe what Clinton said.
Well, I think the
amounted to.
response was published from the Palestinian side too, right? Like there was a 20-page thing that
Yeah,
was in
they
English.
Yeah, because you can get the
Israelis
document that's
didn't
got both
publish their
responses.
response,
Yeah.
but the Palestinians did. And
That Israeli response it's leaked. It's publicly available. I've seen that. It's like 20
I'm not
pages,
saying,
right?
no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's shorter.
No?
I saw it. I was
It's-
shown it by, oh God, I can't remember his name. Barak's assistant, the lawyer.
Yeah, the Israeli response is short and the Palestinian one's long.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I think Clinton put his foot in his mouth because at the beginning he said both sides accepted, but with reservations after
No, he
they.
didn't say it like that. What he said,
that not?
well, I don't remember hearing that. Maybe he did, but I didn't hear that. What I heard from was that he said initially, I won't blame anybody for the breakdown of the talks. And then he went ahead and blamed Arafat, contrary to what he'd promised, which is true. He promised and he didn't, because Arafat said no, but as he understood it. I didn't hear him say that both sides said yes. I've never heard that.
It might be a bad wiki entry actually,
I
because that's the one that everyone brings up. Is because I know
I've
it.
never seen
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And I've
That's
used to
interesting.
follow that because I wrote a little about that. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
I noticed from even coming and talking to whether it's Balin or Ben-Ami that there's a lot of very small disagreements over things. Like I think going around people talking about Resolution 242 and whether or not the English or the French version actually mean the same with a different thing. Because
Well, the difference
yeah.
is one says the territories and the other says territories.
Yeah, but then I asked Ben-Ami, and I think the French word, because he speaks French, and
Yes,
yeah,
he
the
knows
de, like de, des, doesn't actually have to mean the, because
The, yeah.
the French put things like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're both,
That's the way most people interpret
yeah.
the difference between the French and English versions. Yeah.
I'm just curious on the rejection because this is the document that I read. This is not the Israeli rejections or not
I
rejections.
don't know. I've
there's
never
something.
seen this file. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the file.
Yeah, these were remarks and questions regarding the United States proposal, and then my understanding is that these were the Israeli, not I wouldn't say rejections, but their concerns because like the land swaps that they wanted to do like weren't possible without changing a few things, but for the most part it seemed like they wanted to stay within the Clinton parameters. But I think in the Palestinian response, I think they said something
I
like,
just remember seeing the. I think didn't see all this. I think I saw what you call points of clarification. That was the last 3 pages or whatever. I don't think I saw the first 20 pages or whatever there is here.
Gotcha, okay.
I don't remember seeing that.
Okay. I think on the Palestinian response, I think they said something like we would never give up a single right of return or something like that was part of their.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they also say, we're going to be flexible, but also, no, it's like very double speaking, yeah.
Well, Arafat famously wrote an article in the New York Times saying that while we endorse or whatever the right of return, it won't necessarily be implemented. It will be pragmatic about the implementation. In other words, it won't be millions of people not going to cross the border.
Yeah.
That's what essentially was his line. That you shouldn't be afraid of it because it won't be implemented in full or whatever.
Yeah. In domestic and U.S. politics, there's a thing that happens. Arafat does a similar thing where when people talk about an upcoming court case, when they're in front of the media, they have so much to say. But then when you put them under oath and then you put them in front of a jury or in front of a judge, they're way more careful. And a lot of the crazy things they said publicly, they wouldn't. And it seemed like for Arafat and even for Mahmoud Abbas that they'll say a lot of things to a newspaper outlet or whatever, but when it comes time to actually signing a deal, there's nothing. They won't agree to like a strong thing anywhere. It's always like vague. That's what it feels like from my.
Well, yeah, this is normal. I mean, this is what people do. I'd like to throw this.
Oh yeah, sure.
Against possible mosquitoes.
That's fine. Is this water?
I've been eaten to
It's a
death since I got
remedy or
here, so yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I've been eaten to death since I got here, so
Yes.
yeah.
Here we haven't had them yet this summer, but we normally do. So I'm always worried that there's going to be an influx. Yeah.
What's that you're drinking?
It's lemonade, please.
Oh, okay.
And, go ahead.
Cool, thank you.
I'll maybe fill it with some cold water as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
Have you had anybody mention or contact you about the Finkelstein debate?
well, lots of people have written to me. Yeah. A lot of people have.
Oh, yeah,
But it won't hear his audio if he's far.
sure. Were they generally nice comments or mean comments or?
No, all sorts. People, all sorts of comments. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They were. I don't think. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
There haven't been that many. It's but people here and there refer to it.
Yeah.
Usually they say it was okay, or at least I'm sure they send Finkelstein the same. Other people send Finkelstein. You spoke spoke effectively.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of comments you get.
Are there any comments on people arguing about who you were laughing at?
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I just remember from the actual debate that Finkelstein was unpleasant towards Steve.
Yeah.
That I remember. But otherwise, I don't remember anything.
So
Yeah,
in the whole.
this is a good on camera. I want this one to.
Okay.
Yeah, on that.
So-
no, for the interview I want to.
Oh, okay, we're saving it. Okay.
Should we start, or are we?
I think he's setting up.
Yeah, we just need about maybe, let's say, 10 more minutes if possible.
Maybe another hour. Okay. Okay. Oh, that book looks very used. You should get a new one.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, he was going to spend an hour.
Is that the
asking
salesman pitch?
You said in this that
yeah.
transfer was inevitable of the Arabs. What do you mean by that?
Inevitable, given their resistance. They always quote the half.
Transfer was inevitable. They always wanted to.
No, what I'm telling you is that they always take it out of context. The context is, given that the Arabs attacked the Jews, there was no choice in '48 but to push out the disloyal, whatever it is.
Is that Wait, is that going to be one of your questions? Because I wanted to ask about
the
the.
two-state solution. There would have been no transfer in '37 or in '47. It's as simple as that. But once they attacked the Yishuv and were expected to be disloyal citizens if they remained, why shouldn't they be if they just attacked the Yishuv? Why should we keep them there?
You said you participated in the North in the '67 war.
Sort of, yeah.
So, okay. Were you in any of the other ones after?
Was I?
Yeah, in like '73 or.
Yeah, and in '73 I was also in the north, in the reconquest of the Mount Hermon, and in '82 I was in Beirut for a while,
Were you?
mortaring the Fatah in southern Beirut, in Burj Barajne.
Okay.
You might have met my dad.
What was he doing?
on the other side.
He was
half Lebanese.
Yeah, he was a Christian, so he was in. Well, he would have been up in June, so he'd have been a bit further
Junior.
away from you. Yeah.
No, so Junior is further north. I don't
but-
think I even reached Junior. I did reach during that summer I did end up eating at a restaurant there on the way to Junior. Everybody used to eat there. The Fatah, the Israelis, there was a time when it was like just after the siege. No, it was during the siege that you could go there, you hung your guns outside the dining hall of this restaurant. Everybody sat there. They had the meals. Everybody picked up their guns and left from the different sides. It was like a neutral zone, that restaurant, because it was very popular.
There's a really funny urban myth amongst Lebanese Christians about Sharon liaising with Phalangist people in Lebanese restaurants. Apparently, he had a habit of groping women in the.
That doesn't sound.
It's just
to
something
me
they
it doesn't
say,
sound like Sharon, but it might be. I wouldn't say. I don't. I've never heard that.
Never seen it written down anywhere.
No,
Just
I've
hear
never
it from
heard about
family.
Sharon.
Yeah,
I've heard it about other people.
Oh yeah.
Not about Sharon.
Okay.
But who knows? I don't know. I've heard lots of things about the Phalange leaders, which go far beyond groping, much worse.
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah. Not good
Hubeke
days.
and all the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically like gangsters.
Yeah. That's why my family left. They're just like
Unpleasant character.
can't really choose a side, so you just have to
Yeah.
go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So they left for America.
No, they went all over. My dad went to Saudi first, and then my aunts, they went between like, America, Australia. One went to the UK, yeah. And then I've just, my dad met my mum who's Scottish, and then we ended up living up there, so yeah.
In
Scotland.
Scotland?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, of all places.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember meeting Maronites in Africa. I think it was the Central African Republic. Can't even remember the name of the capital. They had a good restaurant on top of a brothel. There was a brothel there. So you sat in the restaurant on the terrace outside,
Right.
and on the floor below, on the street, these very good-looking prostitutes used to walk up and down the street. Because there's a big Lebanese Maronite community in West Africa in general. You know, they went there to whatever.
It sounds like the Maronite experience, like good food and hustling. Yeah, that's what they do well.
Well, yeah.
I have a couple of, I'll maybe ask you before we do it on camera, because there's a couple of like very hyper-specific things I wanted to ask you about because of, I was talking to Yossi Balin, and I basically like introduced by talking about him being part of the back channel talks that led up to Oslo. And I think from your book, I mentioned that those initial talks and before '93 were in defiance of Israeli law because they were banned from talking.
It was illegal.
Yeah. So he comes. So he basically said that he's like, listen, I need to clarify. I beg you not to repeat this.
Lie again.
We did not breach the law. It was a dumb law, but we didn't breach the law. So I don't. Is that?
I don't know what that means. It was illegal to meet with these people.
Was it illegal to meet officially or just ever? Is that I couldn't figure out what the difference was.
wait.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are going into a lot of legalisms. Which I don't know. It was illegal basically to meet with Fatah or PLO people.
For what year are you talking about here?
92.
I think this was illegal because wasn't Balin's first contact to start Oslo, wasn't it through an intermediary? Didn't he send somebody else?
No,
Yeah.
before it was by Hirschfeld and what's his name, the son of that editor in Copenhagen.
Well, Larson, the Norwegian guy.
No, an Israeli.
Oh.
An Israeli academic who died not long ago. Can't remember his name, but then there were two academics, Hirschfeld and another. They both mentioned.
I know I can find it. Yeah.
And they were the initial contacts with what is name?
Hanan Ashrawi, Abu Allah.
No,
Yeah.
Abu Allah.
Abu Allah. Yeah.
Not Ashrawi. Abu Allah was there, basically leading the PLO team. So there was these two, and then Balin started getting interested because Hirschfeld persuaded him these guys are serious, and then Balin persuaded Peres that it's serious, and then Peres persuaded Rabin that it's serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think they originally called them crackpots, didn't they? Perez thought that it was like a crackpot idea.
Well,
Yeah.
Hirschfeld's an idiot, but the other one isn't. So the other one, I can't remember his name, isn't an idiot.
Yeah.
But maybe Hirschfeld could have been seen as a crackpot. Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right word. An amateur, let's
Okay.
say. Naive, an amateur. Crackpot's the wrong word.
Are you okay if I bring that up in the interview? Or
Bring what up?
just that question? It doesn't matter. I don't
Bring up
know.
whatever you
Yeah.
like.
Okay. Cool.
I don't. But these really aren't my fields of interest. My fields of interest go back further in
Yeah.
history. This is like all based on hearsay or interviews or newspaper things. It's not, as I see,
It's
proper
concrete.
historiography, which is based on real documentation. All of this isn't. Not documentation I've seen.
Yeah. I think most of my questions are going to be about like 48 kind of period because I know that's like your
That's
specialty.
something
Yeah.
I sort of still remember,
Yeah.
vaguely remember.
You have a new book coming out about
It
the
should be-
massacres.
Yeah, but I don't know when it's coming out. It's not, no date's been set yet, and in Harvard they try to find readers they have to have readers to peer review readers, and
Yeah.
they haven't, the second one they got, they apparently didn't send in a report, so they're still looking for another reader. That's,
Okay.
So it's in the process of being accepted there, though they commissioned the book and there's a contract. a bit strange situation, but it'll appear there. It will appear there because the director wants it.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah.
What's that book over?
The massacres in '48.
Oh,
Well, it's called, the book will deal with war crimes in the 1948 war, by Arabs and Israelis. That's the, don't know what the title will be, but that's what it's about.
Does it deal with, is it just 48 or does it do like
Just
52?
48.
Okay, yeah.
Just 48.
Okay.
And I'm a bit tired. I just got back from Italy. I was night flight and everything. I'm a bit tired.
oh, jeez.
What's the name of that guy with Hirschfeld? If you look up the
I
word-
couldn't, I was trying to
you
look
up
for
the word
it.
Hirschfeld,
Yeah.
You'll find both of them. They're together. Like.
I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't
His
see it.
name. His father's a big editor.
Was
Was
it-
a big editor of a Scandinavian newspaper.
It wasn't Pundak, was it?
Pundak, yes.
Hey, there we
yes,
go,
it's
yeah.
Pundak's name. Yes, Pundak. Pundak is the other one, right? And he died not long ago. Hirschfeld, I think, still alive. Pundak. Pundak was angry with me because he did write a book about Jordan and Israel, which I never read.
Okay.
Never, and he knows that I didn't read it. He says, "Why didn't you read my book when you were doing Jordanian-Israeli relations in '48?" I hadn't read it. I wasn't aware of it actually. Sometimes you miss things. That's how it is. It's too much which is published.
Yeah.
I'm curious. How do you keep track of notes and stuff when you're studying?
What do you mean notes?
Like, do you use like a program? Do you have like a notebook? Do you have a system? Do you have like a binder?
I used to use index cards.
Oh, okay.
And then cross references. In other words, index cards relating to certain documents. And if a document had a number of different subjects, that is, it pertained to a number of subjects, then you had a number of different index cards.
Okay.
You know, one say it dealt with Paris, one it dealt with Israeli-Egyptian relations in the same document, yeah. So you had a number of index cards, but basically index cards, and then the index cards you sorted into subjects. That is, you had certain subjects. You had to decide in advance what subjects interested you. Later, I didn't use index cards. I used the documents themselves. The index cards referred to documents, and these were in you know, piled up somewhere. But later, I simply used the documents without index cards. And I photocopied the documents a number of times if they dealt with a number of different subjects. So again, they were categorized in certain subjects. It's all very complex because there's so many documents.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot to keep in your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a lot, and and sometimes you forget something or you don't put something into an index card and you don't remember, and then suddenly you discover that in the document a certain thing you were looking for is there, but you don't have it written down anywhere. So you don't know where it is.
And you've never had any desire to like try to convert to electronic stuff at all, or?
I'm too old.
Okay, all right.
No,
Okay. That's fair.
I'm not sure I'd be able to do it better than this system.
Sure. Okay.
I'm not sure, and I never did that.
Yeah. I feel like the amount I've read about just 48, but even today I couldn't name more than like 5 villages that were attacked or yeah.
Yeah, I sort of remember them, 400 or so.
Yeah. Someone was telling me about their family came from Jish in the north.
Yes. There's actually a book now. There is a book in Hebrew on Jish. I don't know if he published it in English or an article. Maybe it's an article, not a book, by a man called Abbas, by an Arab. I think he's Druze, but he keeps that under wraps. So I'm not sure if he's Druze or actually Muslim Arab. But he did write a thing on Jish, just on the history of Jish, including 48.
Was there a massacre there or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
There were killings there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Don't know if the word massacre is right, but there were atrocities there, according to certain documents.
Yeah.
Though sometimes people refer to atrocities which never happened. That's another problem. People, there's a rumor. So a guy writes it down in a letter to somebody, and then you see the letter, and well, that's evidence of a massacre. But he wasn't there. He doesn't know. He just heard it somehow.
I remember being like just in a voice call with a bunch of like Arabic speakers trying to find the source of the people thrown in the oven at Deir Yassin. You know that story? It's a story, yeah.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I've never encountered any real evidence of that.
I think the one thing we were able to find was like, I think it was Walid Khalidi, and he's quoting one witness who is quoting another witness who ran away from the baker, and they're like, yeah. So
It doesn't sound right.
no. Oh, and then people embellish it over time. So it's like it's not actually that they pushed them in the oven. It's actually that they forced the dad to throw his kid in the oven and then throw him afterwards. And yeah, that's what it's become now. Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of exaggerations about atrocities. That's one of the problems with them. And you just have to assess what sounds right and what just sounds made up.
Is there any agreement on was it Kfar Etzion, on how many people were killed before or after
There's a problem
surrendering?
with that also.
Sorry?
I've gone into that
Yeah.
at length. There's a problem. The numbers were probably normally exaggerated in Israeli historiography, and the numbers were smaller, but there was a massacre in the courtyard where the defenders began to assemble after they'd surrendered. In other words, but normally people talk about 130 were massacred there in the courtyard by legionnaires and local Arab militiamen, and the numbers probably several dozen or something, 2 dozen, something like that. But everybody in Gush Etzion, not in Gush Etzion, in Kfar Etzion, one of the 4 settlements of the Etzion block, everybody there was killed except for 3 people. One managed to flee the site, and 2 were taken captive by the Legion.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody else they simply killed. Whether they were surrendering, not surrendering, that's not always clear.
Yeah.
The Jordanians let in some Israeli officers in 49, I think it was, a year after. These officers wanted to find the bodies, to exhume the bodies and get them a proper burial in Israel.
Okay.
And these officers, one officer and one other guy from Etzion block, went and found the various bodies, identified them usually by remaining clothes which had tags, laundry tags. In the kibbutzim, people had their own laundry, but the laundry, they didn't have washing machines at home. They all did a communal laundry thing.
Yeah.
So they all had tags on their shirts and pants
Okay.
to whom they belonged, each piece of these tags. Americans, etc., Frenchmen in some way participated as diplomats, as intelligence agents, as fighters, as officials, and so on.
I'm curious. I think it's accurate to say that you're most.
Arab objectives, intentions in that war. Why did the Jordanians invade? What did the brigade and battalion commanders think their military objectives or political targets were? The same applies to the Egyptian government, the Syrian government, the Iraqi government. What did they actually go to war for? This is something which is crucial to understanding the war, because
The first Intifada, I feel like the first time I read you talking about that, it felt like there was a real level of like admiration coming from you towards at least some aspects of that movement. I think the word like courage and bravery appears like 3 or 4 times.